All right, all right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. This is Interactive Chat, Volume 86, our semi-weekly solo man podcast where we talk about everything: news, reviews, announcements, VR showcases, trailers, new gameplay, first impressions, Quest 3, PC support, anything with any relation at all to PSVR2. My name is AJ. What is up, you guys? It is so good to see you. I missed you once again. I took a little mental health break last week. Okay, really, I was just playing No Man's Sky and Split Fiction. Fantastic. And lots of PSVR 1. Lots of PSVR 1 from Firewall 0 Hour. Still has a player base. Oh my God. A really good one too. Wipeout Omega Collection, which if you're a fan of Wipeout, then you're going to want to catch today's show because I've got some great news to share a little bit later. That's right, because I played VR Racer Hoverbike, and I can't wait to tell you about my first impressions of it. There's also a huge VR showcase that happened this week in case you were living under a rock or just, outside touching grass and living in the real world, which is also fine. And then lastly, we have a new Mega March PSN sale that we're going to be going through. I've got three big picks for the Mega March sale that I want to recommend. But also, there's some DLC that you might need to pick up. But this is, of course, Interactive Chat, where I like to interact with you guys and say, what is up to Game Cat Chicago? Man, I'm overdue for a deep stuffed pizza, man. Deep dish or something. Jason Ewing, howdy, buddy. Salvador, what up, my dude? Bargle Soft. Twitcher, the single player Game Cat, hello. Oh, you're a gorgeous chunk of manhood, you. Shucks. Metal Game Cat Solid Fritz, what up, my dude? Good to see you, homie. Imzadi, good morning. Out and down under, congrats on winning my Exocars key and EU key that I gave away. Congratulations. Now you get to suffer like the rest of us. I'm just kidding. Slightly. What is up, Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for life? My dude, Scotty boy. Wow, so many people here. Jamie, Slark, Durbin, Brown, all right. Blue Drew, the Underground Game Cat Elite Name Squad in the house. Hello, Blue Drew, good to see you. Kill Artist, the Dream Weaver, Steve Irie, Hamoud, Milkaya, the Soul Reaver Game Cat, Alahembe, the Two Wise Underground Stranger Game Cat. Okay, that's a lot of you already here. Hello, I missed you too. Big hug. So good to see you guys, man. We've got a lot to talk about. But before we kick things off, quick shout out for those getting the tip train going. Thank you so much to Nihilist Ryan, my metal feline friend, says metal brother, making it happen again. Let's go, baby. That's right. We back, baby. Kill Artist, the Dream Weaver, Game Cat, with his awesome drawings that I've seen that some of you will get to see at the PAX meetup, or online later. Says, what's up, AJ? What's up, Kill Artist? I just started finishing up my last character design for our upcoming Game Cat meetup, then hoping to get back on the No Man's Sky expedition. Excellent, my friend. Excellent. Yeah, I haven't started the No Man's Sky expedition. I've really wanted to. I haven't finished a single one. Shame on me. I've played a bunch of them for like 5 to 8 hours, and I just never end up finishing them, but I need to. I really, really need to. Because I want those ships, man. Those unlocks on No Man's Sky's expeditions. Holy crap. Those are pretty dope. Some of those new ships they've added are insane. And yeah, I cannot wait. At some point, one of these days, one of these years, I will get around to getting those and whatever. Also, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to those who support me down here that go to patreon.com/PSVR Underground. And support me for $1 or more a month. Sometimes get a little bit of extra content on there. I try to, especially I like doing written reviews. So if you don't see a review on the channel or something, you're wondering where it is, I either usually discuss it here on Gamescast or I write it on Patreon. Sometimes do some other things on there when I can, like giveaways or whatever I can. So thank you guys for your support on there as always. My Exocars written review is on there. Spoiler alert, I didn't rate it very high. I think I gave it a 4 out of 10. Has potential. Like, I think some people are going to like it. Seems like some people are liking it, which is cool. But Exocars ultimately just, it needs to go back in the oven for another 6 months to a year. Lots of feedback. It has lots of potential, though. Cool concept. But I'm a little bit more excited about the potential of VR Racer Hoverbike, which I think is what it's called. I really should have looked that up first before putting that in the title, I think. All right, guys, it is time to kick off the show. We have got tons to talk about. Gonna go into the VR showcase, but here's the thing. There's a lot of games that were shown at the VR showcase. A lot of great games. But I'm really just going to be focusing on the ones that really stood out to me. So, but before we get to that, there is a huge PSA I need to make here. Synth Riders, guys. Synth Riders devs are giving away if you follow me on Twitter, you know this. If not, you don't, maybe. But Synth Riders is doing a giveaway for a bHaptics vest on Twitter. I tweeted about it. Here it is right here. And just wanted to reiterate this for those that don't, pay attention on Twitter or don't really follow on there. I highly recommend. Here's the thing about the bHaptics vest. The bHaptics vest, I think, is an amazing accessory. I think it's pretty amazing. But it's also pretty damn expensive. I think the cheapest one you can get is like $250 to, and it goes all the way up to like $500. It's amazing though. Build quality, battery life, the haptics, 40 different motors, all sorts of things. Synth Riders has added bHaptics support back to the game, which it had it, but now they've added it to PSVR2 as well. So I'm really looking forward to checking it out. Synth Riders with the bHaptics vest. But guys, just want to let you know, give you a heads up, because that's a really, really nice accessory that you could potentially just get from this giveaway. So if you haven't yet, go sign up and do whatever. It's just 3 steps or something. Go and try and get you a haptics vest because they are freaking awesome. But like I said, they're also very expensive. So I understand not everyone's going to buy one. If they didn't send me one for review, I probably would be very skeptical and probably wouldn't buy one just because it's so expensive. So I get it, but that doesn't take away from how awesome it is. So highly recommend you go over there. Just had to let y'all know. All right. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the VR showcase that happened earlier this week. Shout out Jamie Feltham, who hosted this, and they announced a whole bunch of games. And there was, I forget how many there were for PSVR2 specifically. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games total. PSVR2 games were featured during this announcement. Now, like I said, I am not going to sit here and go through each and every game. Number one, it just seems like it would be kind of boring. Number two, it would take 3 hours. And number three, I just don't care about all of these games. I love all VR, but not every game interests me. Instead, I'm going to focus on just the ones that really, really stood out to me, like personally, which ones I actually am really excited about and curious about overall. Before I get into my big picks, though, I do have to give a little bit of an honorable mention to some. Underdogs was shown, and that got an official release date of March 25th, I believe. That's a tough time to come out for that game, man, because the 27th, you've got Hitman and Wanderer. It's a really, really tough window to be placed in, no matter how good of a game you are. Even Wanderer is probably going to take a little bit of a hit, man. But overall, I am looking forward to this, and I have been playing this for review. I can't talk about it just yet, but I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts on it and playing it more because I honestly haven't played it that much just yet. A cool little side note, though, is that they said with the purchase of Underdogs, you will actually get the VR Skater SLP, I think it's called, DLC. Remember that weird promotion a couple weeks back where like the VR Skater DLC was free? Well, they're doing that again with Underdog. So if you buy that, you actually get the DLC for VR Skater free. And that DLC is really good. It basically doubles the content of the game, and it adds skate parks and challenges and like collect the word skate and a little bit more of these Tony Hawk things that they've implemented. I really like that DLC. So if you're a fan of VR Skater, then this is another way you can pick up the DLC without having to actually pay for it. Hitman, of course, was shown. I don't think they really showed anything new, though. I'm hoping to get review keys for Hitman, but yeah, that's not looking so good right now. So I may just have to play it upon release. Unfortunately, they got a new community manager, and he is ghosting me. So we'll see what happens with that, though. Who knows? Maybe he's just busy, which is very possible as well. Shadowgate VR, which I've talked about here before. This is a fantasy puzzle game, and it looks pretty decent. I'm not like super hyped about that, but I've heard I've heard it's pretty solid and a decent puzzle game. So I'm looking forward to Shadowgate. So I wanted to give that an honorable mention. Also wanted to give an honorable mention to Ghost Town, which is by Fireproof Games, developers of The Room VR, A Dark Matter. And I really, really like The Room a lot. And yeah, this is those developers' next game. I could have featured this in the main one, but I just wanted to stick to an honorable mention for now because, I expect the Ghost Room to actually be pretty good, especially if it has a really good story. That could be really, really awesome. Not Ghost Room, Ghost Town. And then finally, the last honorable mention goes to RoboQuest VR, which I've heard great things about. It looks really cool. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just really tired and worn out from roguelike shooters and a lot of especially roguelike shooters. I'm just, as great as it is, I'm just not in the mood. I'm not feeling it right now. But it does look like a good game, and it's probably going to be pretty good. So we shall see. But those are the honorable mentions. Now, I want to get into the 4 games that really stood out to me, the ones that piqued my interest personally. What has happened? What I look jumbled. The on video chat looks jumbled. Oh, I see what you mean. The chat box. Yeah. Sorry about that. That's just the Streamlabs being Streamlabs sometimes. But anyways, there's 4 games that really, really stood out to me from the VR showcase that I'm really excited about. Now, disclaimer, I am a fan of sci-fi. I am a big fan of horror, and I am a fan of just trying something different and different things, new experiences. That's why I like VR, because I got tired of the same old. And there's a couple that really stood out to me for my personal taste. And the first one probably, I'm a little cautious about this one. I don't think that this one particularly looks like one of the best games shown. But it is one that looked like something I'd be very interested in. And that is Surviving Mars VR, also known as Matt Damon VR. Listen, I'm a big sci-fi nerd. I read a lot of books about colonizing Mars. Anything from The Martian to what the hell are those called? A bunch of different ones. The Red Planet, not Red Planet, Red Mars books, or the Mars trilogy, and the Red Mars book I really like in particular. And as you guys know, I'm a big fan of No Man's Sky, and so I love sci-fi survival. all these things, and just going out onto Mars and having to survive and basically mine and build, and you have to basically colonize Mars by yourself, which is why I call it Matt Damon VR. So I'm really excited about Matt Damon VR, which is basically what I'm just going to call this from now on. Surviving Mars Pioneer. There's actually some additional information, I think, from our very own Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers and Without Parole, who wrote on the PS blog even, and got some cool stuff here. Says Mars is calling and survival is in your hands. Surviving Mars Pioneer is a brand new made for VR survival game set in the Surviving Mars universe, developed by Bulwark Games and published by Flat to VR Studios in association with Paradox Interactive. As a lone settler on the Red Planet, you must establish and maintain an autonomous mining operation, managing oxygen, nutrition, I like that, and health while braving the planet's harsh environment. Every decision, from optimizing your power grid to unlocking new technology and vehicles, determines your success. With a fully hands-on approach to base construction and resource extraction, Surviving Mars Pioneer brings planetary survival to life in VR. A deep economy system challenges you to mine, export, and expand, while jetpack traversal makes exploring the Martian landscape both thrilling and essential. The Red Planet awaits. Will you endure its unforgiving frontier? So a little bit of cool info there. Yeah, I like that there is like a, when it comes to survival games, I've said this a billion times, and if you've been following me for years, I apologize, but survival games are something I didn't know I liked until VR. I think it started with the Solus Project and then like Song in the Smoke, a couple other ones. I even enjoyed Green Hell VR to some degree. And I liked this whole managing your nutrients and things like that. And then also, surviving the harsh conditions. I saw at one point in the trailer, you're like driving around in a buggy. So that's pretty cool stuff, man. That is pretty cool. So that's 2025. It's going to be coming out, or it said early access 2025. So everybody, I am really looking forward to Matt Damon VR. How about you? Let me know in the chat if you think, if you're excited about this one, or if this one looks meh. I can see on the surface level, especially if you're not a sci-fi survival fan, I can see this looking like really uninteresting and boring to you. For me personally, this one kind of stood out. The next game on the list, I hardly know anything about. Now this game was announced as a Quest 3 game, I think, and then it's coming to Quest 3, I think, in September, and then they said that it is going to be coming to PSVR2 as well after. And this is Memoreum. This one came out of nowhere. I love all the Matt Damons in the chat. Matt Damon. So this one, I actually literally just saw the trailer for the first time today, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually pretty cool looking. Now this is just Quest 3 footage, but yeah, so instantly from this trailer, it looks like a horror survival sci-fi game. I am a huge fan of System Shock 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm a huge fan of The Persistence, which was on PSVR 1. I've always liked System Shock, Dead Space, BioShock, stuff like that. Well, I haven't played a lot of BioShock. I need to play more, honestly. I was hoping for a VR mode by the time I got around to playing it, and it never happened, unfortunately. So, but anyways, this looks like a brand new kind of game with that theme, that universe style. And this is looking really cool, looking like pretty action-packed. And there is some additional info. Now, I have to get this from the Quest store. But they say Memoreum is a VR sci-fi action horror campaign. The Ichor infection has taken over the last ship of humanity. You are Dr. Otto Hudson, fighting to unravel the mystery behind the outbreak as your fragmented mind slips from reality. Okay, there's actually not as much info as I thought there was going to be. Oh, wait, here we go. There it is. So there is like a story-driven campaign. The year is 2311. There is combat against. There's actually one thing I really liked from the trailer is like it shows like a variety of enemy types. I really like the variety of monsters and creatures and things lurking in the dark. Kind of scary looking. Hopefully this gets enhanced for PSVR2 because it does look a little questy, but you know that's okay. Quest 3 is a lot closer to PSVR than Quest 2 was back in the day. It doesn't mention anything about being like a roguelike or anything. Looks like it's just like a full story-driven campaign, so that's good. And then the guy that developed this also made the Half-Life Alex mod. Wait, Return to Rapture, apparently. So it's developed by Patient 8. But yeah, pretty cool looking game, if you ask me. I really, really like, again, I love sci-fi, I love horror, and this looks like a System Shock / Persistence kind of game, like another one of those. And those are fantastic, man. They're a lot of fun. So, yeah, man. Pretty good stuff here. This is obviously a long ways out, but just from the showcase, this was another one that stood out to me as like something that I personally would be pretty interested in. Now, the next one is super cool and different, and this was actually probably the one that in some way excited me the most. From the showcase, this was the first one that like really popped out to me at the show. And let's see here. Twitcher says, I don't have a problem with roguelites, only bad roguelites. Yeah, I struggle with roguelites, man. I really do. It's better than a wave shooter, but it's like it shares so much in common, and I don't know, man. There hasn't been like a ton of stuff. Atmos VR 77 says Surviving Mars looks pretty good to me so far. Very good. Yeah, Surviving Mars also is based off like a flat game. There's a Surviving Mars like flat game, and that's way different. That's more like a strategy, one of those god games where like you build like colonies and stuff. You manage a bunch of people. That kind of strategy game. So, what up, Red Rover? It says Memorium, a game that celebrates all the dead games. What up, man? Not sure. Brondo, it's what Plants Crave says. I'll take Genotype 2. Yeah, they made I think the same company that's making which one was it? I don't know. It was one of those. Is making they also made a Genotype. Lots of discussion about roguelites or roguelikes. Says Niles Ryan says he likes them if they have co-op. Okay. Mark Poppin Pringles Leaf. Once you pop the mark, don't stop. Says we've gotten way too many of them. Yeah, you know, after that one roguelike exploded and like won Game of the Year, I think, or something like that, or won a bunch of awards, it definitely became like a new popular genre. And I have people that like I work with and stuff, and roguelikes are their favorite genre. And I'm like, wow. It's just not entirely, yeah, they just, when it comes to VR, you know, they're not usually like fleshed out enough. I don't know. There's been a couple standouts like Ancient Dungeon, Ghost Signal, Hellsweeper VR. There's been some good ones for sure. Hades, thank you, GameCat Chicago. Yeah, ever since that like, you know, blew up, people really, really like that genre. So okay. So moving on. This next one, like I said, this one really, really excited me. And that is Out of Sight VR. This one's very interesting. Now, you know, of course, the majority of VR games are best experienced first person, and you know, you like fully control everything. This one's a little bit different. I think Wes described this as a second-person VR game because you're basically playing from the eyes of a teddy bear, and you're controlling or helping this blind girl get through rooms, solve puzzles, and it's got this Little Nightmares vibe going. And what a lot of people seem to be comparing it to is like basically a Little Nightmares VR somewhat. That's the closest comparison a lot of people are making. And this trailer really, really impressed me. This was one of the ones I was most excited about. And like the trailer looked great. It was really, really well presented. But this looks fantastic, man. And I love something different that looks, fun, of course, but I love that it looks fun. It looks really nice and polished, but it also looks different and something to like, oh, this is something new to experience in VR. Out of Sight VR looks fantastic. Let's see. There should be a store page here. Let's see what the store page has to say. Out of Sight. Oh, this is actually the flat game, I guess. Out of Sight non-VR. I guess it's coming out as well. Flat screen. I don't know if this is the same one or not, but we're just going to go with this one. Out of Sight is a deeply atmospheric horror game that blends first and second person perspectives with riveting voice acting to immerse you in a chilling and emotional journey. The world from a new perspective. Having regained sight through her beloved Teddy, Sophie knows she must find a way out before it's too late. Danger lurks around every corner. One misplaced step, a creaking floorboard, or unexpected bump could spell capture or end an uncertain fate. Rely on your wits and instincts to overcome the many challenges of the mansion with only your courage and Teddy to guide you all. Survival is in your hands. Piece together the chilling story buried within the mansion's walls, unravel its tragic past, and uncover the events that turned it into a place of nightmares. Not all is as it seems. The line between reality and illusion is razor thin, and your senses may betray you. And lastly, avoid your relentless captors and uncover the secrets of your capture. Will you discover the truth and break free, or become a lost soul trapped forever? So the interesting thing about this as well is the story-driven element to it. It sounds like, they're at least from their marketing stuff, they're saying that it's got really good voice acting and there's a bit of a story to uncover, but essentially you're controlling this girl and helping her make your way through these different traps, puzzles, horror creatures, all sorts of stuff. This seems really, really cool, man. This was definitely one of the big standouts that had me really excited to play. This one looks fantastic. Twitcher says, I couldn't find the VR version of Out of Sight to wish list, only the flat one, which makes no mention of flat to VR. Yeah, I don't know if this is the same one, but I think it's obviously very similar. Angelo Lima says, where's the Legend of Dragoon prequel trilogy announcement? What up, Looper? Good to see you, man. Atmos VR says, Out of Sight is the midnight walk of this VR showcase. Really looking forward to it. I agree. Something a little abstract, a little different. And honestly, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Out of the 4 that I picked, 3 of these are all coming via Flat to VR from Flat to VR Studios, which is really, really cool. And we'll get into that here in just a little bit deeper dive into that in just a minute. Mark Poppin' Pringles Leaf with the dad jokes in the chat. Thank you. Okay. Out of Sight VR looks really, really cool. It takes me back to, the old school days of some of these just more creative games, man. That's what I want to see. I want to see stuff get creative and fun. And it looks really, really cool. It almost reminds me of those maybe played Another World that are old enough to remember or played it later. Or even better for me personally, Heart of Darkness. I'm a huge Heart of Darkness from Eric Chahi's team. And I like that, or like Oddworld, Abe's Exodus kind of thing. Pretty cool, man. These are looking really, really awesome. Yeah, it seems like the chat also agrees that Out of Sight is something they'd be interested in. Definitely seems like our type of game for sure. Which brings us to the last big pick that I have from this sale. I'm sorry, not from the sale, from this VR showcase. And it is a pretty big one for many. A lot of people, this was the holy shit moment for a lot of people. And for others, a little bit of a head scratcher. But I think it's pretty fantastic. And I'm pretty excited because POSTAL 2 has been officially announced, coming to PlayStation VR 2 from Flat to VR Studios. My goodness, you guys. My goodness. Things are about to get crazy. Now, for those who don't know, POSTAL 2 is like an infamous game for just how absurd, over the top, crazy, offensive. It is basically just what I call a little bit of a guilty pleasure. We're gonna be doing lots of naughty things in VR. The description alone, let me read you the description for POSTAL 2. Blast, chop, and piss your way through a freak show of American caricatures in this darkly humorous first-person adventure. Meet Crotchy, the toy mascot gone bad. Visit your uncle, Dave, at his besieged religious cult compound, and battle sewer-dwelling Taliban when you least expect them. Endure the sphincter clenching challenge of cannibal rednecks, corrupt cops, and berserker elephants. Accompanied by Champ, the dude's semi-loyal pit bull, battle your way through open environments populated with amazingly unpredictable AI. Utilize an arsenal of weapons ranging from a humble shovel to a uniquely hilarious rocket launcher. Collect a pack of attack dogs, use cats as silencers, piss and pour gasoline on anything and everyone. You know you want to. That is the store description, the official store description for POSTAL 2. And Flat to VR Studios is making the official VR version built from the ground up. And it's going to feature, a lot of really cool VR mechanics as well. They say that, let's see here. It's been rebuilt for VR it's going to have manual reloading, dual wielding, and physics-driven melee combat, an overhauled inventory and UI, and more. It says chaotic, offensive, and endlessly entertaining. POSTAL VR 2 is an unhinged VR playground like no other. Now, this game, you basically play as a postal worker, and you're supposed to just like basically do some tasks, but then you end up just going postal. You end up going on an absolute rampage. This game is gory, violent, disgusting. Like I said, offensive is a good word. Unhinged. I like that. I like that word for this as well to describe this completely unhinged game. But it's also a very, it's very much a cult classic. This game has had a huge following since like the early 2000s. This is a pretty good one for all those that are wanting. I know a lot of, especially the younger audience that, or just people just wanting to relieve some stress, that want to use a cat's butt as a silencer, as you see in the video there. This could be a potential good like stress reliever game. I'm actually shocked that Sony is allowing this to happen. I am quite shocked because this game is completely unhinged. But I guess they do have like this is the closest thing to like a Grand Theft Auto that we are getting so far, of course. But yeah, this game I think is going to end up being a lot of fun, a lot of silliness. And like I said, just completely unhinged, offensive, and doesn't give a shit. Growing up, I really liked some games that were like this. I did like Grand Theft Auto growing up, some of the original ones like Grand Theft Auto 3. I did play the originals as well, but they were a little bit different. And then I was a big fan of like Conker's Bad Fur Day. And like, yeah, like, you know, these games can be pretty fun and silly and can be a pretty good time. Steve Irie says, let's be fair. There's been far worse release since. You know, at the end of the day, I just care about it being fun. I don't really care. Vince Virtuo says degenerate. Yes. All the things, all the terrible, awful, disgusting, degenerate things you can think of is a good way to describe this. Now, Ryan says this game is going to get VR banned in 10 countries. Very likely. The funny thing is, the first time I ever heard about Postal was actually from I think Yul Boll, which is a horrible director that makes horrible movies. He made a movie on this, and it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But somehow I managed to like sit through it and watch it. That's how I first heard about Postal. I never really played it much, but I did do a little bit of just like, you know, I looked at some gameplay, watched some videos on it just to get a little bit, you know, more knowledge as to like what it's about. So as having never played it before, I'm pretty excited to jump in for the first time. It looks wild and wacky. But you know, like I said, at the end of the day, what's going to make or break this is that if it is fun and plays well and is pretty good. Chrome Colossus, Chrome to the Dome, does not like this game. Is not a fan of this game because of some of the things it depicts. Yes, I understand. You are totally allowed to have that stance. But you know, I also do believe in like freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and you know, like, but I get both sides. I am not extreme one way or the other. I like, you know, the freedom, but I also, you know, understand that there's people that have personal things that affect them in their lives, that are horrible and tragic. And yeah, we've got a long history of it. And so like, I understand that are people that are sensitive to that. I've always said that, you know, in real life, I don't like these things. Right. But when it comes to video games, they sometimes make it more fun. And this game really seems to like push the awfulness to almost like a form of art. And I do, like I said, I do believe in freedom of expression. Yeah, totally fair. But me personally, you know, I haven't played this game yet. I don't know. But I am really looking forward to it, and I hope to have some fun with it. Seems like a really fun and silly time. So this is a really big one. This will honestly, I think a lot of people in VR, you know, that own a VR already, I think will buy this. There's obviously like a smaller but more like dedicated audience towards this game. I mean, it definitely has like a huge reputation. And I do think, you know, of course, people that are like big fans of the series, I do think this will make them maybe go out and buy a headset for it and get into VR. So there is a silver lining there probably, but I'm sure a lot of non-traditional content creators are going to have a field day with this one, probably have lots of fun with it. But it's coming to all platforms I think it's coming to all platforms, but yeah, it just seems totally absurd. But I'm very excited about this one. I'm definitely going to check it out. And thank you all from what I can tell here. You're all being very civil in the chat, so I do appreciate that. You know, freedom of expression, whatever, freedom of voice. You know, voice your opinion, voice whatever. But make sure you're always civil to each other. That's always important. We can talk about these more sensitive subjects and it be fine. You know, just agree to disagree in some cases. So I appreciate you guys. You're awesome. But so this is the thing. I do want to address something regarding like what Flat to VR showed off. You know, they showed off a lot of stuff here. They had, I guess, 5 different games they showed. That's a lot. Postal 2, Out of Sight VR, Surviving Mars, Shadowgate, and RoboQuest. I think that's all that they had. I saw, I don't really care, obviously what most of the time what other people think, but I do want to address something that, a lot of people were, hoping they're hoping for flat to VR to, you know, be bought by Sony and convert The Last of Us to VR, or, their expectations are super, super high. And while I agree with that sentiment, just want to let it be known. Most of you already know this, so I don't even know who I'm saying this to. Maybe somebody else outside that's wandering by and wanted to hear the discussion. But just remember that people things got to start somewhere, and this is why I've always no matter what Flat to VR does starting out, I've been trying to be very supportive. Now I don't go and just tell people to buy their games just because for the cause. I mean, you should if you want to support their cause, yes. But like Trombone Champ, for example, I have zero interest in that. And so while I didn't bash it or anything, I didn't play it, I didn't cover it, I didn't talk about it much because me personally, I'm just not that interested in Trombone Champ. Even if it's good. Same thing with RoboQuest, just not for me, man. These games that I singled out here though, like Surviving Mars, Out of Sight VR, Postal 2, and even Shadowgate to some degree. These are games that actually I look these actually genuinely I'm interested in. So I'm really excited that they're finally starting to pick up some things. And don't forget that they also have Flat Out VR coming, which I think Flat Out and Postal 2 are their biggest upcoming games. That's not actually a bad lineup for starting out. Again, you got to start somewhere. Pietrek F says, I'm worried Flat to VR doing too much things instead of focusing for now on Flat Out VR. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I think they have the resources, the teams. They've got different teams, different members. Flat Out's, a ways away. And they do have a lot of stuff they're releasing here, but I think these guys, obviously there's a lot of planning, a lot of stuff that goes into this. So, but what I do think is I do hope that these turn out really well, and I do hope people support them if they're, interested and want to support them, because this is how we potentially get there. Where Flat to VR is right now, they're in a pretty good spot. I mean, they're already making some really good connections. They're already generating lots of buzz. As far as releases go, they haven't released anything super mega yet. But this is how they're going to get there, especially if these end up being good and successful and they can keep growing, building their connections, building their networking. So just be a little patient with them is all I'm saying. And in the meantime, like I said, I'm genuinely excited about a couple of these games they announced here. And I'm really, really, looking forward to playing these, and I hope they land with me, because, I am just waiting. I am sitting here waiting to just jump up and down and be like, this is the time to jump in. This is the game we've been waiting for from Flat to VR. But yeah, obviously, I hope to see them just continue to grow, be successful, and if that happens, they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger games, and access to bigger games, bigger IPs, bigger contracts, of games that they can bring. And I love that these are coming in an official capacity versus just like a mod, because mods can be kind of janky, limited, things like that. Their mods in particular, like Team Beef and a couple of the other people that they work with, they don't feel like mods. They feel like they make games feel like built from the ground up. But I do think it's really important that, VR continues to grow in this official capacity. It's otherwise, if everything's just going to be mods, it's going to be less and less people that can get it. But anyways, that's the end of my rant. Overall, I was pretty pleased with this. Yeah, I wasn't sure what they were going to announce or whatever. I think this is pretty solid. I would give this a solid B+ showing overall for the announcements and everything. B+, I would say, for the showcase. some really, really good stuff. And like I said, there's like almost 15 games shown. Again, this is the full list: Hitman, World of Assassination, Ghost Town, Prison Boss Prohibition, Vendetta Forever was shown, Underdogs, Slender, The Rival VR, Gorn 2, Shadowgate, Mines of Mythrock, Postal 2, Out of Sight VR, RoboQuest, Surviving Mars, and then Wrath of Aeon of Rune, and then Memoriam. I'd give it a solid B to B plus for this showcase. Maybe not gonna, make people go out and buy a headset right away. Not a large amount of people, but at least a couple games that look enticing enough and to keep us satiated for a little while. So, before we move on to VR, V-Racer Hoverbike, I do want to see what you guys are saying. Quill the Game Cat, Quill, says Monkey Island in VR, please, flat to VR. I would love Monkey Island, another one of my favorite games of all time. Imzadi says Shadowgate, I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, Shadowgate could be really, really cool. There was like Witching Tower. It kind of reminds me of like Witching Tower or Mage's Tale, something along the lines. Shadow Legend. It kind of reminds me of those. Chrome Colossus says, I liked Trombone Champ when I didn't think I would. Let's see here. Melchiah says Trombone Champ is on sale right now. Headbite straight up bought Trombone Champ to support Flat to VR Studios. That's good for you, man. Yeah, I mean, Chrome says Hitman isn't looking any worse. That's good to hear. I didn't even watch the Hitman thing, to be honest with you. I just don't even care. Like, everyone's gonna buy it, everyone's gonna play it. Mostly everyone. I'm gonna buy it, play it. So I'm looking forward to it regardless. Jay the Foveated Rendered Game Cat coming in with native 90 frames per second says most excited for RoboQuest. It looks so good. But if all the new reveals, it's out of sight. Me too, man. Out of sight's looking great. Awesome Tatum says RoboQuest day one. So lots of love for RoboQuest here. Very good, very good. Let's see. What did that say? Okay. Very good stuff. Yeah, I think I think Out of Sight is definitely like the big standout to me. Obviously kind of a different style game, but a pretty good one. What's gonna get me? Oh yeah, no, don't say that. Don't say that. That word is forbidden in this chat. That will definitely make me flip out and throw things. Game Cat Chicago says VR is literally the greatest thing ever. When will humanity catch up with the future? A long time from now. Game Cat Chicago, because I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. At least people come around and eventually realize how great VR is, or how great PSVR, PSVR2 is. They'll come around. It's just going to take some time. It's going to take some time, but it's already started, man. It's still growing and still going. So that's all that's important. It's just going to be a little bit of a slow climb. Stingray X, what is up, homie? Good to see you, man. Steamboat Willie, the Spaghetti Game Cat. You guys know all my trigger words, apparently. Good Dog, Bad Dog, Jim Ryan. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Imzadi. And thank you, Metal Game Cat Solid Fritz. Okay, guys. So lastly, before we get to the PSN sale and I give you my my picks from the PSN sale, on Monday, we talked about a game that is not actually officially confirmed for PSVR2 yet. But what's happened is that there's been a game called V-Racer Hoverbike that has been announced for Quest, I think coming in the spring. And ever since then, they've been just bombarded with support and love from PSVR2 players. So we talked about this game on Monday a little bit, talked about the situation with it, that they'd like to bring it to PSVR2. They haven't officially made any announcements yet. But we are certainly doing our best to court them over, and it seems to be working. The developers over at Vertex Breakers were kind enough to provide me with an early access beta key. Now, this is the Quest 3 version, and this is my footage that I'm going to be showing off here. And this is a game that interests me because I'm a big fan of two things that this game resembles. One of those is Jet Moto, which only 5 of you other people know. And if you do, I love you. And the other is Wipeout Omega Collection. And that, of course, many, many of you know. Well, guys, let me restart this footage and full screen this here and tell you a little bit about my first go with V-Racer. Now, give this just a second. The footage will smooth out a little bit. This is captured with a Quest 3 using some insane methods to get it recorded, and I'm casting, so the performance is a little iffy at first, but then it kind of it levels out. So don't, if it's making you sick looking at it, just look away for a second and then look back in a minute. It's not going to be that as bad as it seems at first. Looks very choppy here. But guys, so all it took was by the second level, which I'm showing off right here. You grab your bike, and all it took was from the second level alone that I was immediately impressed with this game, and I was already sold on it. From the second level, this level right here. This game is very, very much Wipeout. It feels a lot like Wipeout. It plays a lot like Wipeout. It's designed a lot like Wipeout. But I was actually surprisingly really impressed. And this is why I was sold, because on the second level, woohoo, immediately got to do a loop-de-loop. And that was really cool and unexpected. I was not expecting that. But the devs have said that this game is heavily inspired by Wipeout, and that is very apparent. I don't think they know what Jet Moto is, and that's okay. It doesn't really feel like Jet Moto. It feels more like Wipeout, but the biggest similarity there is that you are riding a Hoverbike that looks very much like a Jet Moto bike. Oh, Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for Life says, where are the other people in the race? This is a time trial mode. There will be other people here shortly. This is just a time trial. You have to reach rank 2 to unlock like the career mode, which is just only requires like 1 or 2 races. But I started with this footage here because I wanted to show off the loop, this loop right here. Once again, here we go again. Woo-hoo! This game has a good sense of speed. The control method, there's 3 different control methods that you can use. I'm using the leaning method, where you can lean left and right, and it feels very good. And it actually also made me excited about that other, the other V-Racer game, SBK or whatever it's called. I get it now. The leaning, you keep your head straight, right? It teaches you, there's a tutorial, there's training session here. It teaches you how to steer, and you don't really like grab onto the handlebars. I mean, you can keep your hands there, but it's just R2 to drive. I don't know why the menu looks so choppy here. But R2 for acceleration, L2 for braking, and then you lean. This game, despite being like a small indie team, guys, this game actually is a little bit more polished. Look at the end screen here when you finish. This game's a little bit more polished and fleshed out than I was expecting. It kind of took me by surprise because, I'm used to, when it comes to indie games, there being a little bit more jank, a little bit more lower quality graphics and everything. Now, this doesn't, of course, have the production values of Wipeout, what not many games are going to, but the stages themselves and everything actually looked a lot better than I was expecting. The backgrounds look really, really cool. There's some cities, there's some canyons, there's different things. This is the career mode now. And it looked like there was like, it said, I think there was like 52 levels or something with the career mode. And again, this is beta, this is early access. Game still probably has some little bit of work to go. This is the first level that has combat in it. And this only had missiles and shields. And so like, I was like, oh, like they're going to need to add more than missiles and shields. But actually there was more when I got to the next level. When I got to the next level, there was missiles, shields, homing missile, turbo, a couple other things. Obviously I want to see them keep expanding it, but this game has a surprisingly good amount of like quality of life features. Like this feels really, really well executed here. When you hit, it's got this marker similar to like Gran Turismo for you, where it's got the line that you can follow that'll tell you like the most optimal path or whatever. And then like when you go off the main track and you go on those on like past the side markers, the median stuff, whatever you want to call it, it actually slows you down a little bit. It gets a little bumpy and it slows you down. So there is like a really nice balance to the gameplay here. And man, having just played Wipeout Omega Collection all weekend, this game was surprisingly reminiscent of Wipeout. Again, maybe not in the AAA graphics department. It looks good in the headset though, overall. And the gameplay is extremely smooth. I was pleasantly surprised with the gameplay here. The leaning feels really great. And the courses, the tracks, they feel pretty good. I have a lot more to play that I look forward to playing, but my first impression so far, you guys, I've actually been really, really impressed with this. You guys know I don't pull any punches when I talk about like different games. I don't really pull any punches, but I'm like thoroughly impressed from this. Like when you say like when I expect a game from a small tiny indie team, there's some good stuff, but look at the menus here. You get your rewards. There's something else that's really cool. Here I ranked up. After every race, you also get, it tells you your unlocks. It's got this cool grid. You also get like a free lottery, and you get 3 options to choose from. And if you choose correctly, you get like a free decal. And it just keeps that dopamine hit just going and going. It's pretty impressive, man. It feels constantly rewarding. It feels really well paced. Yeah, man, I'm very, very happy with this so far. And there's been a couple different types of modes that you can play through, there's trials, there's combat, there's survival, which you'll see here, I think pretty soon. Look at these backgrounds though. Like the backgrounds look pretty cool. Now I do have some feedback. I want to play it some more. See, I can see the dude behind me is targeting me with a missile, and it gives you a warning when you're targeted so you can hit your shield in time. This level has a lot more weapons, a lot more chaos going on. Now, again, some of the special effects, some of the production values, like, it's good. It's for an indie developer, it's great. For an indie developer, it's fantastic. But obviously, like I said, production values wise, like some of it's just kind of a little bit, some of it can be minimalistic here and there, but I was actually really impressed with some of the backgrounds here. I thought it was surprisingly really, really good. I was not expecting, usually a small team, even some bigger teams, we get some games with, not a lot of fleshed out backgrounds, a lot of polygon, maps and stuff. And this actually looks better than I expected. Like I said, so in other words, guys, this game has got PlayStation VR DNA all over it. This game needs to come to PlayStation VR 2. I think this game would really help scratch that Wipeout itch. That's the closest comparison I can give it, which they obviously say they, take a lot of inspiration from Wipeout. And when you play this game, you will immediately understand. Like you'll totally get it. But like I said, it's got this line that you follow, this marker, and it will even turn red when you're going too fast. It gives you a little bit of like an assist. So like I think that was the other thing that surprised me was was like the quality of life features. Like VR games don't usually have a lot of quality of life stuff because a lot of VR devs are not usually like huge gamers, like have a huge history of just understanding what makes a game like a game really fun game. And they focus more on just executing the technical achievements of pulling something off in VR, and they end up sacrificing the gameplay, the game's content, the quality of life features, all these things. This seems like really just ready. Like this seems ready for prime time a lot more than I was expecting. Guys, I'm really surprised by this. I did not even want to stop playing. And that's a really good sign. Now again, I am playing on the Quest 3. But yeah, man, I think, let me do here. So what I'm going to be doing, you guys, is I'm going to be playing this, and I'm going to spend some time with this and give the developers my feedback, as much feedback as I can, in regards to like what I think, if they were to bring it to PSVR2, what kind of features, what kind of things I think they would have to execute, and get. Obviously, I mentioned before on Gamescast, there's some of the obvious things like native 90 frames per second. If you can do any visual enhancements to take advantage of the PSVR2 hardware, any visual enhancements like any lighting actually would go a long way here. But lighting, textures. Here's a look at the survivor mode. I'll blow this back up real quick. This is more like a neon looking track. So I didn't really fully grasp what the mechanics were for this mode, but essentially it was kind of like zone mode is what it seemed like to me. Zone mode from Wipeout. But the track looked really cool with this like neon look to it, and I was zooming through it, and it was pretty sweet. There was like some other levels which I don't think we're gonna have time to get to, because we got to move on here soon. There were some other levels that looked like some of the cities in Wipeout, which was really cool, like cyberpunk futuristic like towers and stuff. I was really surprised by it. But guys, if you're interested in this game, and you have a Quest, I would recommend it on the Quest. If that's all you have, then yeah, absolutely. I would say keep an eye on this. This is definitely going to be one to pick up. But I definitely want to support this game and get them and court them over to us, because guys, this game was made for us. This game is not made for the Quest audience. I'm telling you right now, the way that this game feels and looks and is structured, this is much more of our core audience type game, and it's going to really scratch that Wipeout itch for those that are missing Wipeout right now, or those that have never played Wipeout. Like I said, there's a couple different racing mechanics you can use. So you do keep your head level, which they tell you. They say don't bend your neck. It's going to hurt your neck and it's not going to work well. And you do keep your head level, and you just lean a little bit, and it feels good. Like it feels responsive. It feels very polished in terms of the leaning mechanics. Feels like you're riding a bike, like how it's supposed to, like a motorcycle or a hoverbike. There's also another mode where you can, there's 3 different options that I saw. One where you can, turn the handlebars left and right. I haven't tried these other ones yet though. So again, didn't have enough time today to check it out. I need to eventually, but the other mode, yeah, you do the handlebars like this, which is, like probably traditional turning. And then the last one they had was like, it's like an up and down. You do like an up and down to turn left and right. But so far I did the leaning mode, and I liked it a lot. I will reiterate, just in case the devs happen to be listening, if it comes to PSVR or whatever, like I do think you should probably add gamepad support, just because of options. Like options are nice. Do not prioritize multiplayer ever with VR, because multiplayer just does not, or VR does not have a strong enough player base for multiplayer. Do not prioritize multiplayer over fun and accessibility, especially. The accessibility is the most important thing I'm talking about here. You'll get more players, more people able to play it, more people able to have fun. Could that potentially pose some problems with balancing or whatever? Sure. But there's 3 different control methods already. So it's like, I mean, I don't know, like where's the balance at then? I don't know about that part, but I would say, you know, obviously the orbs are going to be the best way, or the leaning method is probably going to be the best way to play this. But I would still put DualSense support and, you know, or joysticks with the things, do all the controller options. And I think you're going to have you're going to please the most people, which is the most important thing. Oh, Francois is here. Hello. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, game is already multiplayer. No, multiplayer is great. Don't get me wrong. Multiplayer is very important, and is excellent. But what I'm saying in terms of gamepad support, I don't know how many people would play this with a gamepad, but from our experience, our community, well, and if my chat disagrees with me, you know, say it, just disagree with me. But from our experience, like the more options you have for controls, the better. And there are some people that have, you know, disabilities. There's some people that have physical disabilities. And so they may not be able to use the leaning method. They may not be able to use the arm method. Some people also just, you know, for whatever reason, they have to play with a gamepad. So I don't think a gamepad is like a must, but I do think if you have the option to, it would be a good option to have. We'll see. We'll wait and see. But I did not say remove the multiplayer. Do not remove the multiplayer. In fact, this game seems like it'd be really fun in multiplayer, which I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, but Francois, I am very impressed with this game, man. And I can be pretty harsh. I can sometimes not be very nice. I'm loving this so far, man. This is really good. But I agree with you. You're leaning, the leaning method that you use in this is really, really well implemented. It feels very good. Look at this, guys. Look, this is the futuristic look at this level design. Look at the backgrounds. Look, I mean, this is straight out of Wipeout, and this is awesome, man. I was really having a lot of fun playing this. It's got the markers to help you with the turns. Guys, this game's really good. This game is really, really good. And I cannot wait to play more of it and give you some more feedback, Francois, and the Vertex devs team. Yeah, this is surprising. When you know, you're very humble. The developer, you're very humble because you're like, oh, you know, this is just a small game made by a couple passionate people. This is better than a lot of corporate games that we get. It's really, really fun. And it's good stuff, man. Yeah, no, I mean, this is where the best video games come from a lot of love, a lot of passion, a lot of good inspiration from other really good games. And yeah, man, whatever we got to do to get this on PSVR2, man, we got to make this happen because this game is super fun. But I only played a little bit of it so far, but I had a lot of fun and I can't wait to play more. So guys, let's do this thing, man. Let's make this thing happen. Track design is nice. I really enjoyed the loop on the second level, on one of the levels. I really enjoyed the loop that it puts you through. And then, you know, me being a Jet Moto fan, I'm like, okay, can we get some like off-road, some more verticality, some more ramps? I don't know if those levels are already there, but this game is really good and has even more potential to just keep going. And look at this like replay menu. Like, look at the replay screen after you finish. And it's got all of your UI items, everything, the little planet that you're racing on. It's got the grid of the map. It's really good, man. It is really impressive. So I'm going to stop gushing about this for now because I have a lot more to play. But this is really, really good. Oh, he says I should release the opponent. Oh, increase the opponent difficulty level to get more fun. Yeah. Oh, I've got tons more I'm going to play for this. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Jet Moto, but Jet Moto is like the first PlayStation game I ever bought. And this is like the most fun kind of Jet Moto / Wipeout game I've played since I've played Wipeout and Jet Moto. This game is really, really awesome for us. Yeah, I'll definitely have to play some more and get more of you guys feedback. I will go out of my way to give you guys some feedback on this. Absolutely. I am sign me up. I will, and I work for free. I work for free. I just want to help you, help us, and we help each other and have a good time. But yeah, Steve Irie says a massive corkscrew like Laguna Seca, only 10 times bigger. Yeah. The corkscrews, more verticality going up and down. Sometimes I know that's probably, difficult, but, really, really good. Some other, Jet Moto fans here, I see. But fantastic job, guys. I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, man, let's keep in touch because I want to play this game more and help you with this game more. But really great job. It is excellent so far. I hope the Quest audience picks it up. I'll definitely be telling any Quest people I know. I'll be like, you got to try this out. Hopefully, there's not a lot of racers over there, and they give this one a try because it is excellent so far. Really good. A lot better than I was expecting. Super awesome. All right, guys. So first impressions of V Racer Hoverbike. Excellent. Really hope to see this come to us one day because it is really good. All right. So now, thank you guys again for the early access key as well, so I could check it out. Thank you. But I loved it. I loved it so far. All right, guys. So last but not least, we've got the Mega March sale that is on PSN now. So we're going to, as always, go through the sale and give a quick thumbs up, thumbs down to some. Actually, I might do something a little bit different here because we're running over time a little bit here. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I know we usually go through each and every game and I give the thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm not going to do that this time. I have 3 mega picks that I would recommend from this sale. And I'm just going to go ahead and highlight the picks. You guys know your Gran Turismos, your Resident Evils, Red Matter, stuff like that. We've gone through those a bunch. But I do want to point out a couple things. Now, a couple different games here. So first, Waltz of the Wizard is $11.99 and is 10% off with PlayStation Plus for $9.99. I give a strong recommendation, 1 thumbs up, or just a recommendation, 1 thumbs up for Waltz of the Wizard. Good price at $10 and has hand tracking. If you're interested in the hand tracking, you gotta try that out. So I recommend Waltz of the Wizard for $9.99. I actually missed this. That Vendetta Forever is $16.24. Also recommend Vendetta Forever. It's really, really good. I need to go back and play Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, but at launch it was a disaster. I know it's gotten some updates and it's a little bit better by then. You guys know I love Demio. Stilt is pretty good. That's for $8.99. That's a pretty good price if you like first-person platformers. That's a good one. Big Shots, a $9.99. That's pretty decent. I played it for about 5 hours before I moved on, but I enjoyed Stilt. I enjoyed Big Shots. Okay, so there's actually a couple more games than I expected here that I was going to have to recommend. These are, let me just give you the underground picks of this sale. Okay, are we ready? I'm doing things a little bit different this time. Phasmophobia for $14.99. This is an absolute must pick up if you're into horror games. Go and play it with our community. They play it every single day. And join our Discord if you need people to play with. Or if you're brave enough, play it by yourself because it's scary as hell. But Phasmophobia, $14.99. That is one of my big picks from this sale. One that's a little may come as a surprise to some of you. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk here, and I'm gonna say Little Cities Bigger. Little Cities Bigger for $14.99. If you're interested in this, I'm gonna take a little bit of a chance and say pick this up. Pick this up for $14.99. I need to play this more, but what I played, I was enjoying. It was a like decent, cozy, little world builder simulator, kind of thing. And if you need to mix it up, this is a good one. This is one of my a rare pick from me. I'm gonna be saying this is worth picking up from this side. The last game, full game that I'm gonna say you should pick up. You know it. Wait, who said that? I saw somebody say it in the chat. Who was that? I saw somebody say it. I'll find it again. Dude, Demio Battles. $14.99. I highly recommend Demio Battles. I've played about 25 hours of Demio Battles. It is a turn-based tabletop strategy game. I play it single player. I play it completely single player. But I really like Demio Battles. I think it's awesome. And the nice thing about Demio Battles versus Demio is that Demio Battles doesn't take 3 hours to complete. You can finish a level of Demio Battles in 10 to 20 minutes each level. 5, 10, 20 minutes, something like that, depending on how you play. I thoroughly have been enjoying for about 25, almost 30 hours, I think, Demio Battles. A lot of you were waiting for me to say Demio Battles. Yeah, man. I definitely. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for Life, bought Demio Battles today. Excellent. Distracted said Demio Battles. Thank you, Chrome to the Dome. And Distracted. That game rocks, man. It's really cool. Again, it's a little bit different. It's fantasy tabletop, turn-based, kind of strategy game, but I really liked it. Now, there's more games in this sale that I think that I could easily recommend. Any of them that you guys are curious about, if you want to ask in the chat before we get out of here. Obviously, Resident Evil Village. If you haven't picked up Resident Evil Village for $15.99, then you are, unless you just don't play horror games or don't play Resident Evil games, you're missing one of the greatest games of VR games of all time. Resident Evil Village is fantastic. I'd probably skip this gold edition of Resident Evil 4 just because you can get the game for probably like $20 and the DLC isn't supported. Gran Turismo, $30, no brainer, even though it's sometimes you can get like a physical copy for $20. Project Wingman, stay far away from. Waltz of the Wizard, you're cool. Red Matter, you're cool. Shaven Stuff, stay away from. I got bored in 5 minutes. I was not impressed. I'm thinking of Pets and Stuff. Pets and Stuff, I got bored, but Shaven Stuff is probably worse. Both these I didn't like. Vendetta Forever is really cool. Would grab it with the discount. Angry Birds Isle of Pigs is okay. It's just okay. It's not a bad game. But you might get bored. Let's see here. Let's see. Twitcher. Why would you say that about? Why do you hate why do you hate Resident Evil 4 so much, Twitcher? Okay, hold up. Twitcher, go sit on the couch and tell me your feelings about Resident Evil 4. Truly, what is wrong with it? Listen, Resident Evil 4 is not perfect. It definitely has some jank and some things that from the remake version I didn't like more than the original version. But it also has things that are better than the original version. But it's just it's an amazing game. So I think for me personally, I think people don't really mention the flaws that Resident Evil 4 has in terms of like gameplay and some issues. but I think they're easy to overlook. They're really easy to overlook. Let's see here. Yeah, don't Project Wingman more expensive than Resident Evil. Yeah, that is crazy. Hello Neighbor, I need to play again, but I was not impressed originally. Demio, now if you haven't played Demio, I would definitely recommend it at $20. You can play it single player. Again, it's fine. Just know that it's a really long sessions. It's like 3-hour sessions. You can stop at like 1 hour intervals, but that's it. Synapse, hopefully you got from the PlayStation Plus collection. Crisis Brigade 2. I really enjoyed this game on PSVR 1. But on PSVR 2, I'm like, I'm just kind of old news for me personally. Stilt is a fun first-person platformer. Drums Rock Premium Edition for $19.24. That's not bad. Kizuna AI Touch the Beat. No, stay far away. Big Shots, like I said, I enjoyed for about 5 hours. House Flipper, I didn't even know this existed. Wait, I'm not showing the thing still. Sorry. House Flipper, I didn't even realize existed. I didn't realize that was a thing. Peaky Blinders, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the show though, so maybe that has something to do with it. Survivor Man, not a fan. Cave Digger 2, Dig Harder, not really a big fan, although it's okay. Star Tenders, no. Towers and Powers, I finally played Towers and Powers, but I played it for about 5 minutes and then I got so bored and didn't want to play it anymore. I've heard some people say it's really good. Oh, there's other things here though. The Walkabout Mini Golf 8-bit layer, you absolutely have to pick this up. That is a really, really cool course. I haven't played Ice Layer. I haven't played Laser Layer. Dead Second is actually surprisingly pretty good. Let's see how much. $10.49. That's not bad. That's actually not a bad game. I would say it's kind of surpassed Crisis Brigade at this point, maybe. But it wasn't. I don't know. It still didn't grab me more than like Tiger Blade did. Just yet. I only played it for just a little bit, and I was like, "This is pretty good," but I didn't really feel like going back to it. Cave Digger, no. Little Cities, I actually said yes this time. Down and Out, oh my God, no. Stay far away from this game. Mecha Party, stay far away from. VR Pigeon, stay far away from. Operation Serpent, stay far away from. Cosmo Dread. Okay, some of you like Cosmo Dread. I don't like it though. So I'm going to say no. No to Sherlock Holmes. No to Seeker My Shadow. Yes to Demio Battles. Now here's the other thing, guys. This is the last thing of the sale that I really, really want to point out. Oh, Headbite. I'm sorry. I should have been paying attention to the chat. Headbite says all the layers for Walkabout Mini Golf are amazing. Okay, good to know. Twitch of the Single Player Gamecast says, my brother met Isaac Asimov and spent a whole day entertaining him. He was president of his uni sci-fi society, and Asimov came to give a talk. Nice. I read the first book of Foundation, and it was good. It was much better than the Apple TV show. Although the Apple TV show had has some really good moments. But yeah, I like the book 1 of Foundation was really, really good. Very sci-fi politics stuff, but it was cool. It was interesting at least, and really, really well done. Okay. Brooklyn Menace. What up, homie? Says Dead Second is great if you like old school light gun games. Yeah, I agree. It's one of the better light gun games we've got. All right, but here's the thing, guys. Synth Riders. The best part about Synth Riders, you guys, the thing that I think doesn't get enough credit in Synth Riders are the experiences. Right now, all of the DLC, pretty much all of the DLC is like 50% off. This is I'm going to use my golden buzzer of this episode and say, pick up all of the Synth Riders experience packs. Pick up the Adrenaline music pack here, which you get an Offspring experience. I think You get an Offspring experience, but you also get some really badass songs. You get Time Bomb from Rancid, 21st Century Digital Boy from Bad Religion. You get Self-Esteem and Come Out and Play. You get a Come Out and Play experience, which is really good. And the even this Interrupters, which I've never actually heard of them before, despite having a huge punk rock background. They have a song called Gave You Everything. This song kicks ass too. Absolutely 100% using the golden buzzer for these Synth Riders packs. Get this one. Get the Caravan Palace pack. This Caravan Palace pack is really, really good. The Wonderland experience is really good. Miracle is a dope song. Lone Digger is a pretty good song. These two, I can't remember these two, but these are really good too. Really good songs, really good mapping. League of Legends pack. Also pick up this one. League of Legends, I know nothing about, but they actually have some really good music from that I discovered after watching Arcane. League of Legends, the Never Die experience. You have to do this one. This one's really good. Awaken is also really good. Pop Stars from KDA. Some of you would remember from the Beat Saber days. Really, these three. I don't really know about these other three, but I really liked the experience, and I like Awaken, and I like Pop Stars. The Lindsey Sterling experience. This one's also pretty good. It's got the Underground experience, which is really, really good. And, to be honest with you, though, here's the thing. With some of these synth riders, like the League of Legends and the Lindsey Sterling, you might actually just be able to buy you can buy the individual songs. If so, for these two, it may just be better just to buy the individual songs. You'll maybe spend $2, I think. But you got to get the experiences here. That's the important part. The Muse pack, I would definitely recommend the whole Muse pack though. Because the Starlight experience is good and the other songs are pretty dope. Let's see here. Synth Riders Synthwave Essentials 2. This has the Muse algorithm experience. You've definitely got to get that, as well as the other some of the other songs. Gunship Tech Noir is really good. Again, if you can just bypass the pack and just get the experience, okay, fair enough. That is what I would recommend. The 80s mixtape side B is better than the 80s mixtape side A. This has like Queen, Toto Africa. What a dope song. Toto Africa is such a good song. It's got the Rick Roll. I again, some of these you may just be able to pick out individually, but that's got some good stuff on there. And then of course, lastly, the Gorillaz pack. The Gorillaz pack is really, really good. Some good Gorillaz, pretty dope band, and would recommend. So with Synth Riders, it's kind of tricky. Like I said, I would recommend the full Adrenaline pack, the full Caravan Palace pack. When you get to League of Legends and Lindsey Sterling, it gets a little bit more iffy because maybe you just have to get the experiences are the important part. The Muse one, definitely worth picking up for the experience, and the Synthwave Essentials 2, worth picking up. The 80s mixtape side B, really good. Gorillaz, really good. And then there's so many of these. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. There's so many, you guys. Oh Lordy. From the side A thing, the song that I would actually recommend the most. Oh, maybe that's not part of this. Whip It Studio in Excess. Oh, I thought it was part of this, but it's actually not. Guys, there's so many of these, but just focus on the experiences and then the other pick. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we ran about 30 minutes over, but that's okay. I appreciate you guys so much as always. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out, having fun, engaging in awesome, fun discussion. Yeah, man, lots to look forward to now. Postal 2, Out of Sight VR, Memoreum, Surviving Mars, I'm looking forward to. Even Ghost Town. Some people said RoboQuest. Shadowgate got some love. And of course, Hitman, Wanderer this month. Guys, we are 2 weeks away from Hitman and Wanderer. That's going to be awesome, man. Super cool stuff. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you to those who donated, keeping the lights on. Thank you. Shout out to the Patreon supporters, patreon.com/PSVR Underground. The other way you can support, of course, is going to vr-rock.com and using the promo code AJPSVR. It's mainly for a discount. It does give me a little bit of support, but not really. It's more about getting you guys a discount on some badass lenses than it is Underdogs the 25th. I will definitely have some early stuff for you. JPEG Q, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Keeping that tip train going. Says, check out Lindsey Sterling's music videos for video games, Dragon Age, Zelda, etc. She has done performances of songs from. Yes. I think I've seen those actually. I think I've seen the Dragon Age one maybe. She also did like a cover of Imagine Dragons Radioactive, which I actually like that song. I've always liked that song. I know it got like super huge, but I like that song when it was just it was actually first time I heard it was in like a PlayStation commercial. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, that was before they exploded, but they instantly exploded right after that. You get one free play of the Lindsey experience. It was very cool. Interesting. So you get one free play for the Lindsey experience. That's the coolest. That is like the really, really coolest stuff about Synth Riders, man. The experiences. You got to check those out. If you're missing that, you're missing out on basically half of what makes Synth Riders really cool. Yeah, the Underground song I really, really liked. I don't like the rest of her songs. There was like the Underground song, and there was maybe one other cool song I liked. Yeah, I'm not like, I like Violin, but I'm like, it's whatever. Some of the songs were okay. Alhembe says we better get the Eric Masher skin on Postal 2. I know he looks so much like the Postal 2 dude. It was crazy in that video. Very good, guys. All right. Well, it is time to get out of here, but you all have a wonderful night. I appreciate you guys as always. And, yeah, man. Bad Robo says, AJ, extend the show for another half an hour. Just rewind it. Just go back and rewind it. I would love to, man, but I gotta get going, dude. I gotta play more Underdogs. I gotta play more VR Racer Hoverbike, and get to work on those. But shit's awesome right now, man. So let's go ahead and, as always, cue some metal. And thank you so much to JPEG Q. Thank you, Old Darth. Bye-bye. Bad Robo. Appreciate you, homie. Bad Robo, I played your Dreams games again recently. I played Walk in the Park. Awesome stuff. Mark popping Pringles Leaf. What you pop? The mark don't stop, baby. Hooked Worm, the Hoosier Game Cat. Thank you. You. Alejembe. You. Chrome Colossus. Chrome to the Dome. Game Cat. Behemoth. What up, my dude? Blue Drew the Underground Game Cat, thank you so much. Appreciate you dropping in and keeping people in line. Distracted, so good to see you, man. Twitch of the Single Player Game Cat, thank you. Steve _IRE. Headbite. Much love to you, homie. Brooklyn Menace. Stay menacing. Scott the PSVR Game Cat for life. Scotty Boy. Wild Hour in the house tonight. Hello, my dude. All right. The rest of y'all's be good. Now let's ride my Metal Lab friend. Awesome Tatum. DJ Dirty Yellow. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all soon.